Welcome to another episode of the VOD Squad, the show about streaming services and technology. My name is Matt, and this week I am joined by Clyde Harvey.
Hola.
Jimmy Tremble.
Guten Tag.
And Mike. How you doing, Mike?
Hi. I guess actually saying hi gives me a different language than all of the others.
No, you're in Texas. Aren't you supposed to say howdy?
Howdy! Well, okay, what is the correct way of saying hi in all four corners of the United States? That would be howdy for the South. What would in Florida would be, I don't know.
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag. I don't think that makes sense for Florida.
Southern
Actually, if it's
California, you don't say anything, and if you do, it's probably like, yo.
Oh, wait, man. This is so cool,
or
man.
sup.
Sup. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Pacific Northwest would be something like, what?
Here in Minnesota, it's all don't you know.
Well, don't you know?
Oh, don't you know? Okay.
I would think in the Northwest it'd be, where's my umbrella?
Oh, no. You always know where your umbrella is. And you know where your spare is, too. How are you guys doing?
Depends on how long you've been there. I mean, really, once you get used to it, you just don't worry about an umbrella.
And I've been doing well, Matt. How about you?
Yeah, that's true. You will notice that most people who live in the Pacific Northwest do not carry their umbrella unless it's really bad. So they just get used to it. And I'm doing fine.
What's an umbrella?
It's this bat-like creature you put on the end of a stick and you hold it over your head. The bat-like creature tries to keep the various weather effects away from you.
Wait, you can do that?
It's totally awesome.
I always just end up getting completely soaked. I've always wished that there must be a better way, but I never found one.
Well, that sounds like it sounds like, well, where you are, umbrellas don't make sense because you just need to take a shovel wherever you go, right?
Well, I mean, in the spring when it's pouring rain.
No, I guess it could be useful.
But I mean, are those umbrella things? Are they susceptible to wind?
They are. Sometimes they fly away. Yeah. It's really annoying.
Maybe that's why. Because it's always windy.
So, Clyde, where are you?
I'm at home.
Oh, okay. Just double checking. It looks a little different. That's all.
It's a different home.
Oh. Well, congratulations. So, is this the podcast room? Is this what the background we will be expecting to see you in?
I don't know yet. When I actually have furniture and everything here, we'll figure that out. But no, I literally got the keys this morning. Mediacom set up the internet like 3 hours ago. I'm in an empty room with a bunch of guitars.
Show them the guitars so they don't freak out, Clyde.
Yep. I was gonna say all of my guitars are finally reunited in the same place, but then I realized there's still a couple at my old studio. So yeah, soon.
Okay. Well, why don't we talk a little bit about the week's news?
Let's do.
All right.
While Clyde's guitars gently weep.
My guitars never weep.
All right, we're going to start with a story about Netflix. You know, they've been doing this interactive TV thing, and they've decided to finish their Kimmy Schmidt show with an interactive episode that they will be putting out as their final episode. It's the same style choose your own adventure that you were able to see in the various shows, like their the Bandersnatch and the You versus Wild and a couple other little shows that they put on there. So
yeah, I I heard about this, and if you're a fan of Kimmy Schmidt, there is a lot of potential in that universe, in that story. Originally, I thought, they should totally play off the Bandersnatch name, and then I realized, that wouldn't be good. Replace Bander with Kimmy, and people would have And went, okay, no, that's totally a bad idea.
I'm still a big proponent of these kind of shows, these you choose your own adventure style shows, and figuring out the right way to do the right things. I'm really happy with all the experimentation that's been going on, and I cannot wait for more interesting ways of doing this until we finally get some really interesting ways that people latch onto as one of their favorite ways of doing it. I really can't wait till 10 years from now where we get the really good stuff. And who knows, maybe they will do something interesting in this show.
And I will say, Kimmy Schmidt is the perfect the perfect test pattern or platform for a Bandersnatch style show, because if you remember, the beginning of her story was her getting snatched by Don Draper.
Okay. Well, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, I mean, this, I don't know. I mean, right now in its current state, I would say it's more of a gimmick than it is, quality entertainment. But I agree with you, Matt, that I like the innovation here, right? That they're trying something new, and I think eventually this might be a new genre of entertainment, but they're still trying to find their way, obviously, right? But hopefully, I'd really like to see this do well and turn into a good brand of entertainment.
Yeah. All right. Well, next story is a story about Fox Sports. Fox Sports has decided that one of the things they want to do is introduce a new app that you can download onto your phone that will allow you to literally make bets on games. Oh no, it's coming. Also, they are going to be coming out with a different app that'll be free to play, where you will be able to track your teams basically by points and be able to see how well they do, and in a ranking system for that. So, what do you think about the ability to not only watch your games but also make big bets on them if in the future? For example, it's kind of something like maybe a movie draft that maybe some people do. Do you think it's a good idea?
No.
I mean, you have to really be into the sports.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. People bet on sports already.
Yeah.
Yeah, making it easier and more common and more readily available, I think just feeds into the people that have a problem and doesn't benefit the people that don't.
Yeah, I agree. I think the day-to-day sports, it's going to be the people with a gambling problem that would bet on that kind of thing. To where, if it's the World Series or some championship game, maybe, even I would bet on the Super Bowl or something like that, right? But day-to-day, nah. I mean, well, I don't have that much interest in it.
Recently, gambling has been legalized in several states.
Right.
Would this be a replacement or something that would be usable in the states where gambling has not been legalized?
It's a good question, and I don't know. Right now, it looks like the actual legality for online gambling is still in flux because it is loosening, basically.
But my point is that if, let's say, you're in a state that doesn't allow gambling, you use this app and it lets you do the thing that you want to do. In that case, this could.
So I think that gets difficult in the United States. So like most of the gambling type software and apps that are out there are based outside of the United States in places that don't consider them subject to U.S. law. So if you're in, say, Florida and it's legal and that's where your business is headquartered, I don't know where Fox is based out of, but say they're in a state where gambling is legal, they are subject to U.S. laws and stuff. So even though they're operating to know that a customer is in, say, Texas and it's illegal here. I don't know if it is or not. I'm just
what if they're based what if they're based out of the Cayman Islands?
Then they can kind of do whatever they want. And yeah, it's technically illegal, but who cares, because they're not subject to US laws.
Well, I would say this: if we have our entertainment subsidized by gamblers, I'm all in.
What? It's free?
If suddenly Fox's everything is free.
Oh, I want to talk a little bit about the free-to-play version. I think that actually could be a good thing. I think that that's actually just fine as far as I'm concerned. I'd like to see how that will work out because, everything can be, gamified, and that's fine. I think that'll be interesting to see. As long as you don't have to buy, make it pay to win to buy points or anything like that.
Well, the trick here is it's disappointing to see this kind of thing released in conjunction with a betting app, right? If it's super similar, then all they're doing is trying to move people over into the money side, right?
Right.
Like, oh, hey, look at how well I do on this free system. Now I need to put some money on it and get rich, So, and it just feeds that addiction and that drive. So, if it's very different but kind of feeds to the same kind of structure, like something more like a fantasy sports type game that's free to play, that could be fun, and I would be okay with that. If it's effectively betting on the outcomes of the games and getting points instead of money, then I think they might as well just say, hey, this is candy cigarettes or whatever, we're just trying to convince you that it's cool so that you want to go bet money.
Well, they can utilize the pachinko loophole, if you're familiar with the pachinko parlors in Japan, where gambling is not legal. So you buy the balls, you play the game, and then you cash those in for a prize.
Yep.
And then you walk to another building and you sell them that prize, which gets you around the whole gambling because it's two separate establishments.
Right.
So therefore it's not gambling.
Yeah. So we'll see how it turns out, but the way that it's presented, it kind of makes me leery that it's just another way for them to feed into the engine of the gambling thing. And, I don't gamble. I don't have a problem gambling. I actually really enjoy it, which is part of the problem. But I've never had a problem stopping gambling. I've always been able to keep it under control. But I see other people that can't, and that I've seen and known people that got into trouble gambling. And so I kind of, I don't want to do anything that encourages it in a national big company like this that's going to do it nationally and make it super easy and accessible to everybody. A little concerned about the outcome and the results.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, do not adjust your streams. We are in control. Twilight Zone will be streaming in black and white if you wanted to.
Say, don't touch your set. That was Outer Limits.
Was it Outer Limits that did it that way? I don't. So you know how long it has been since I have seen the Twilight Zone.
This is both my favorite story of the week and the dumbest. I absolutely love the fact that they're offering this type of service, a kind of alternate version of the story, customized to meet a specific audience demographic. I mean, that is taking full advantage of what the internet can do for its customers. So I love this. And I also think it's totally stupid to take a good movie, a good TV show, and turn it black and white just because it was the original show it's based on was black and white because the technology wasn't available at the time. I mean, come on. We're not in 1950s.
True, but all baby boomers like me will enjoy this.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, that's why it's great. I think it's dumb that they're doing it, but at the same time, it's totally brilliant and exactly what they should be doing.
I am so happy that they're doing it and it's an option. Wait,
I don't know why that. I mean, what's so difficult about that?
That's my point. It's really easy for them to do. They just flip a switch and then maybe do a little bit of contrast adjustment.
No. Sorry. Correction. It is not a switch. It is a slider.
No, it's
incremental.
In the 1950s, remember?
Incremental. So then it would, if the 1950s, it would be a knob.
That's right.
But
yes.
Yeah, I don't get this. I think it's I don't get it. I mean, if they were talking about colorizing classic episodes that were black and white, I am dead set against it. I will fight you on that. But no,
see, this is the thing, though. They're giving you the option. You don't have to. You can watch it. Oh, wow, look at that saturated Clyde.
Like I said, we already have the option. We can watch it any way you want. Your TV has settings.
That's true.
So why do we need to pay, or why did they need to pay somebody to do that?
I don't know. We also, some people have
available.
suggested that maybe they would be doing some kind of effect to give a CRT effect, and maybe some good old, around the corners, some good distortion around the corners. So,
well, the biggest thing is that the taking an image and turning it black and white is not going to look good all the time, right? So through a series like this, through a whole show, there is definitely going to be work going in to adjust the contrast on each individual scene to give the optimal appearance for the scene. So it's a little bit of work. It's not a lot, and that's why it does make total sense for them to do it. Put a little bit of work and appease a specific demographic and make them excited about being able to see it in what feels like the original intended way, even though it's ridiculous because it's not the original show. So, it's brilliant and totally silly and ridiculous at the same time.
Agreed.
All right. So you guys have your favorite streaming device, and I have mine. And for many of us, for the longest time, that's our favorite streaming device was TiVo. It is with sad news that I say that TiVo is working hard, diligently, to break themselves into pieces in order to be sold up to the highest bidder.
Okay. We knew this was going to happen like 5 years ago.
But it's finally happening.
When they were bought, because this isn't even really TiVo. They were bought by a company that buys companies to break them up into different. The fact that they continued to make TiVo products was the story. That was the holy crap. How is this happening?
Right.
Well, DVRs are old hat.
Yeah.
Well, that's true, but the company also has a streaming service online that their IP for the online streaming services. The other piece, basically, that they're splitting off into. So the questions are, who do you think is going to want to buy the hardware company? And I think just about everybody might be interested, at least putting the chip in for their IP for their streaming services. So.
On a somewhat related note, anybody want to buy a TiVo HD? I found it in a closet. I completely forgot I had it.
Like how much?
I don't know. Make me an offer.
$5.
Okay.
No.
You're covering shipping.
It's all right.
It's $150 shipping.
Ouch. All right. Warner Media is the company owns like things like HBO and TNT and CNN and Adult Swim. They've decided they're going to be making their own streaming service called Reach TV. No, that's not what they're going to call it. But they're going to be making their own streaming service. I don't know what the name is. That they're going to use to stream their episodes before they provide it for other television shows. So
before they reach TV,
exactly.
So would it be pre-reach?
Pre-reach. Ooh, Preach TV. That might not work. I don't know. Because
it's all Preacher all the time.
Preacher all the time. Westworld.
Oh wait, that's an FX property.
Yeah. At least it didn't say Reach Around TV.
Oh.
Oh wait, no. Preacher's AMC.
So, the next story we have is Apple's redesigned TV app. They've finally released it. It's available for you to put on your iOS devices and your upper end Apple TVs, and you are now going to be able to see a lot more of the channels that are lining up. It looks like this is something that I'd be interested to see if you've seen this, Jimmy, if you've had any experience with it yet. But also, it's also going to be already available on Samsung TVs, the 2019 models. That new app is already on there, so we've now seen the very first of the Apple TV outside of an Apple product. So.
And now Jimmy is kicking himself for not buying the QLED.
Maybe, who knows?
No. Yeah, I have downloaded this and upgraded my Apple TV, and I have played around with this new TV app. I do like the redesign. I like how they organize it. You know, that menu, if you bring up that screen there again, Matt, if you don't mind.
Sure, just a second. This one here?
Yeah. So if you see up there at the top where it says Watch Now, movies, TV shows, sports, kids, library. So that's quite good, you know, because you get a whole different content, you know, from, I mean, it just separates out the categories there. And the library is stuff that you've bought on iTunes, of course. But,
of course.
But you know, it's a good way to segment all that stuff in the Apple TV app, because you didn't have this before, right? And also, too, what you see in here is you'll see the channels, right, where you can subscribe to channels. Like say HBO, for example, or Showtime, Hulu, these type of subscriptions you can do. Not Netflix. Netflix is not part of it, but you can subscribe to these. But the odd thing is, if you are already subscribed, you know, in the app that's on your Apple TV, you have to pretty much cancel your subscription there and then resubscribe in the Apple TV app and in the channels there, right? So it doesn't transfer between the two. I found that to be a little strange, but in a way I can kind of understand. Okay, right? You're talking about a different mechanism there that you have to manage your subscription. I like having the subscriptions aggregated, right? But for my existing subscriptions, I don't know. I haven't done it yet. I haven't transferred my subscriptions that I have right now over to this. I may do it, or at least maybe with one of the subscriptions that I have, I'll try it with one, and then if I like the way it is there with the one, then maybe I'll transfer the others. If I don't like it, then I'll just keep it the way it is, right? But I will say that I do like how they've kind of aggregated things together. I think other people have done this before, such as Roku. They've got their channels. This is similar to what they're doing as well on Roku, but to bring it to the Apple platform, I think it's good. I do like the way that it's designed, and also too, I like the way that it keeps track of all the shows I'm watching there too, all in one place. So the Apple TV had that. The Apple TV app had that before, right? This is just taking that and taking a step further by adding the channels to it as well.
Very cool.
So,
here.
Oh, that.
Right. There are.
Do they move up, or do they just disappear to where you basically see one at a time?
No, they move up.
You get less of the picture in the background.
Yes. Until because see, so that like what you're seeing there, right? You're seeing it up next. So it's the first thing there in the frame, which is Spider-Man, right? And so when you've got that highlighted there, then you see that in the background. If you just switch over to the next one that's up next, then you'll see that background there. Kind of like what you see in Netflix, except it doesn't do the pre-roll like what it does in Netflix.
Okay.
Right. So, I mean, it's good. It's a good design. I like it. It's certainly better than what it was. And I have to say, you know, I didn't really use the TV app all that much. I would use it occasionally. You know, certainly not all the time. Typically, I would just go to the app, right? But now that with this update and all, I got to say they've done a pretty good job, and it's kind of prodding me to want to use the TV app more now.
Okay. So it's, I mean, similar in general layout to most of them. It's just a little bit less cluttered, I would say, than like the Fire TV app.
I still say it looks just like Android TV.
It is. It's a lot like Android. Yeah, it is. Clyde's right about that. It is a lot like Android.
It seems like that finally we're finding out a design language that's starting to be universal between all the different systems. So even Roku is a lot like it. So it's just so it's all very good if you ask me.
Well, Roku's still very different, isn't it? Still just the column, the right side. Sorry, that's the left. The left side with the menu, and then you've got little like your tiles on the right.
Yeah. I mean,
so that's totally different. But Fire TV, Android TV, and this Apple TV are all fairly similar, of having rows of the shows with some sort of image up at the top or in the upper portion, and then like a menu somewhere at the top. So Roku is still the stand apart, having its own different style.
In terms of how they organize it, yes. Yeah, it is how they organize the menu. Yeah, you're spot on there. But you know, I mean, the concept of having the channels and being able to aggregate all your subscriptions, you know, Roku had that already, right?
Yeah.
To where, but in terms of the UI, yeah, you're right. Roku is kind of veering out on their own in terms of the UI, to where all the others are kind of, you know, coalescing around that same type of UI.
Yeah, they all have a slightly different spin. I honestly do think that the Apple UI looks a little cleaner and nicer than the Amazon one. But it's structurally very similar. It's just, that's one of the things Apple does really good, is they do a more streamlined and slightly cleaner, nicer looking UI as a general rule. Yeah, it's their specialty.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I have to give them props for that. You know, I won't say, you know, obviously they've not innovated anything here, right? But still, you know, it's a good job. I mean, if you're an Apple TV owner, as I am, I think it's a good update. And again, I do like the fact of aggregating the subscriptions all in one place. And from what I understand too, on some of the subscriptions, maybe not all of them, right? Some of them you get a little bit of a discount if you do it through the Apple TV app. Oh, one good thing too. On all the subscriptions, you get a 7-day free trial on all of them there, right? So and all you got to do is just one click, 7-day free trial.
That's the way you want to do it. So that's
one click is the best way to do a free trial, because if you don't sign up for anything, there's no way anybody will remember you signed up for it.
Except for Apple knows all your stuff and has all your credit cards, so they'll just start renewing after 6 days.
Well, exactly, but that's what I'm saying. When you just go, it's like those Prime buttons, you know, or the dash, you know, or something like that. You'd go, oh yeah, I'll do that, and then you get this recurring thing. But since you didn't actually put in any work to sign up for it, you don't even remember that you did it.
That's very true. I mean, they make it easy for you to sign up. What I may do is sign up for a free trial on one of those subscriptions, And let's see if it's just as easy to unsubscribe or not. That I don't know yet, right? I haven't tried that yet. But I'll report back on the next show. I'll give it a shot over the next week. I'll just sign up for one for the 7-day trial, let it run for about, 5 days or so, and then I'll try to unsubscribe. We'll see how easy that is. And I'll report back on the next show to let you know.
Very cool.
Okay, cool.
All right, next story. Google Assistant has finally come to the Sonos speakers. This is the Google Assistant that, was promised I/O a year ago? And since then, the Sonos has gotten, I think they got the Amazon Echo Assistant, and they got, didn't they get Bixby or something? I mean, that Cortana must be on it. It feels like everything else has been coming to this, and finally, the Google Assistant is finally available on your Sonos speakers. So, if you've already heavily invested in the Sonos speakers and you're a Google fan like me, hey, this is an option for you. If you're, if this is not doing something you're doing. So,
I do think that they have been exclusive to Alexa up to this point.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. They have been exclusive to the Amazon Echo devices up to this point. So this is new. They obviously probably signed some sort of contract with Amazon for 2 years or whatever. And so now we're at that point where they're saying, hey, great, it was fun to have this exclusive, but there's a lot of good contenders out there. We're gonna branch out. So, don't be surprised if you start to see integration with whatever the Siri and not Cortana. I would actually be surprised if I saw that, but
yeah, I was teasing, but that's all right.
Yeah.
How weird would that be to you call Siri and Cortana responds?
I'm sorry.
Not the Windows Cortana, the actual Halo Cortana.
I'm sorry. Siri's not available right now. How can I help you?
I'm sorry, Dave. I can't do that.
Yes, somebody please get the rights to that guy's voice and those lines and put it on my smart speaker, please. I would pay money for that.
Well, we had that bot. We had the HAL bot in the IRC chat back in DCTV days.
I'm sure you did. I want to make it so every time I ask my little device that, hey, can you do this thing for me? And when it has no good answer, for it to respond with just that line. That would be great. Even though my name's not Dave. I just want that.
But only if it randomly puts in Mr. T. Just
a pity the fool.
A pity the fool.
All right. Looks like Disney has managed in some way. Actually, I have not caught up on this story very much, and I'm sure you guys have. It looks like Disney is going to be taking control of Hulu from Comcast. Now, if I remember correctly, they'd already wrestled control of from the Fox, obviously.
They didn't wrestle.
They bought
control.
it.
You're thinking of AT&T. Right? Because AT&T said, "Hey, we kind of want out."
Right.
And so they said, "Sure, we'll buy your shares." And then this is the same basic kind of thing where Comcast is saying, they don't really care about being in control. But the important thing is the fact that with the AT&T deal, even though that Disney, basically AT&T was out, the part of the deal was that Hulu would still get rights to content.
Right.
So that the Hulu and so I don't know specifics for the Comcast deal, but I assume it would be the same.
According to this article, it looks like they've agreed to sell their 33% ownership back to Disney by as early as January 2024. So Disney is going to be majority owner of Hulu. Well,
they already are.
Well, yeah, I know, but
they're going to be sole,
pretty much sole owner. And so, what does this mean if you are a big Hulu fan? If its current model, I mean, does this mean that you think something bound? Well, do you think it'll stay the same?
Well, I mean, Disney has already put out their vision of Hulu,
right,
being that it's Disney Plus for adults or older kids. But no, as long as they continue with the content deals and the Hulu subscribers are still able to get the channels and the shows that they want,
okay.
then who cares? Who cares who's in charge?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting point there, Matt. I mean, the one thing I think about is, the new Disney subscription channel that they're going to have, Disney Plus or whatever they call it. I haven't heard too much about what the original content's going to be on that service, to where Hulu does have original content, right? So would they continue the original content on Hulu only, or would they also have original content on the Disney subscriptions?
There is some planned original content for Disney Plus. I mean, I believe The Mandalorian show is going to be exclusive to Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. They
some other stuff. So
they made a bunch of announcements, but they drew the line in the sand, saying that Disney Plus is for children or family. So anything that doesn't quite fit into those two categories goes to Hulu. So essentially, Hulu and Disney Plus are two sides.
So would Star Wars be would Star Wars be family?
Family, yeah.
Yeah, that's
It would be.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like the FX stuff,
Right.
Okay.
not Disney Plus.
So that would be Hulu.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So I mean, oh god.
I was going to say, so Hulu will continue till 2024 to include all of the NBC stuff. But if you read between the lines, basically 2024 Disney will buy the whole thing, because the way the contract is written is Comcast can force Disney to buy it, and Disney can force Comcast to buy it. So if it's doing well or bad, one of them's going to offload it, and Disney's going to end up with it, right?
Yes, it seems like it.
And it makes perfect sense for AT&T and Comcast to go this route, because they get money from the content deals, right? And if with the new agenda of Disney being, like we said, it's the not quite Disney Plus stuff, that where they're going to put their new stuff, why would Comcast and AT&T actively participate in making Disney lots of money that they wouldn't really benefit from? So yeah, if they can get out, but still license the content to Hulu that they have been, and they're get the money from that, win-win for them. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful because, as we know, Hulu is my number one. Anytime I turn on my Roku, the first thing I do is I open up Hulu, see if there's anything new. If there's not, then I go to YouTube TV.
Yep.
If there's not, I go to 5 other things and then drag my heels to Netflix.
The one thing I wonder is if you're a Hulu subscriber, would you get a discount on the Disney Plus?
They are working on making a bundle of the ones, so yeah, they're going to look at doing that. So, all right, looks like our last story for tonight is about our various streaming boxes. And for the longest time, I believe Roku was the number one streaming box in many of the different countries. But it looks like we have a new winner, ladies and gentlemen. There are now over 34 million people who are using the Amazon Fire TV platform, which is a jump over the current number, which I believe is 29.1 million users who are using Roku. So this is...
Anytime any company puts out these numbers, I always find it very dubious, because I guarantee I'm counted in that 34 million people because I have used one once. I am not a user.
Well, no, they clarify 34 million monthly active users.
Oh, okay.
So that means that they have 34 million people that are using the system now. If you have a Fire TV and it's plugged in and ever comes on, then yeah, that probably counts. If, on the other hand, it's unplugged and sitting on a shelf somewhere or on a TV that you don't ever turn on, you're not getting counted.
Right. Yeah. It to me, I mean, I've only bumped into one person ever who's ever had a Roku streaming stick, not a Roku streaming stick, a Fire TV streaming stick or Fire TV of any kind, and so my experience with it is very limited. But it seems like to me, not very many people, not in person. I mean, it seems like to me that it doesn't seem as popular as what how popular Roku is. Also, the fact that I think I have 4 different Roku devices in my house may have something to do with that too. So.
Yeah.
Well,
go ahead.
I mean, even me. I mean, I'm seriously. I mean, Michael's kind of inspired me to want to go out and get one of those Fire TV streaming boxes that he has. Right. The newest
PVR one.
No, the Cube. That Cube.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So. So, I mean, even I'm inspired to want to go out and get one of those, right? I mean, I have a Roku, I have an Apple TV, so, and I'm a Amazon Prime subscriber already, right? So, I mean, it's kind of like, why not?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately what it boils down to is Amazon sells the Fire TV stick very inexpensively. There's sales all the time. It's advertised on the front page of Amazon.com on a regular basis. And pretty close to every single person in the entire world uses Amazon on a nearly daily basis. Mm-hmm. Minor exaggeration there, intentionally. But yes, there are literally hundreds of millions of users for Amazon.
Yeah.
And so it totally makes sense that it would slowly become the most popular system, because why wouldn't you pick it up when you see it for $25 or $30 with free shipping, and you get free TV with your Prime?
Right.
And everybody's talking about, Man in the Heights, whatever show.
Bosch.
Mozart in the Jungle, Bosch. There are legitimately good shows on Amazon Prime. So,
right. There are, I suppose. I still have a problem with By and Large. I don't like them. So
it's fair.
I was looking at this. So this, I think, was one of the first sticks.
I think so.
It's Looks old like enough that they were bragging that they have Crossy Road. Remember Crossy Road?
Yes.
I've got the Roku 3 with it's Angry Bird Space on it.
Yeah. You'd never know that this was actually used. Everything was repackaged perfectly to sit on a shelf for the rest of its.
Hey, maybe one day it'll be a collector's item.
Probably. All right. Well, this is the part of the show where we take a moment and say thank you. Thank you to our viewers. Thank you to the people who take the time to join us while we're here, and especially thank our patrons who actually give a little bit of their real life money to us in order for us to keep doing this show. Now, we would keep doing the show even if there weren't patrons. We've basically said that before, but
I mean, we were doing the show
a year and a half before we got patrons, something like that. But nonetheless, it does make some of these things a little easier when we can have that kind of feedback and that kind of love from you. So thank you very much for bringing the love. And if you'd like, you can share your love with us too by going patreon.com/thevodsquad and making your donation there.
And also, in addition to that, I want to say a special thank you to Wabbit Magic, because most people don't know. Last week I put out a call that anybody out there that wants to edit the back catalog of videos that are sitting on YouTube private, and he's been doing it. Yeah,
I noticed that somebody's been doing it. It's like, well,
yep, that has been Wabbit Magic.
Nice.
He's done a ton of them. So we're still ways off, but I'm sure within the next couple weeks we will be caught up. And absolutely, thank you, Wabbit. This is a big deal.
Thank you so much. My mom, actually, I was talking to her the other day, and she's like, I was watching this, the most recent VOD Squad, and I thought it was weird because your hair was different. And I was like, yeah. And she's like, I thought you were over 100, and it was like number 70 something. And I was like, yeah, well, so thank you very much. I didn't know you were the one doing it, Wabbit, but my mom noticed, and she's watching us again.
Nice.
Thanks,
Excellent.
We'll get her all caught up.
Nice to have you with us, Mike's mom. All right.
Absolutely.
And with that, I think it's time that we check in with Big Voice Jay.
Welcome to your Movie Draft Minute, presented by DiamondClub.tv for the week of May 13th, 2019. I'm your host, Big Voice Jay, brought to you by Atheism, a non-profit organization. Let's go to the scoreboard. Team Ritual Misery's hanging out in the lobby, still waiting for their first film. Team Drunkage Gaming is in 5th place with $21.9 million. Team Nevada Squad gets $15 million from The Hustle, and 4th place with $30.6 million. Team Game Night is in 3rd place with $132.4 million. Team Have a Drink maintains 2nd place thanks to $63 million from Detective Pikachu, bringing their total to $688.7 million. And in 1st place with $960.5 million, it's Team Movie Party. That's your Stream Team Movie Draft Minute. Thanks to Stephen Cogswell for tonight's music. All totals are accurate as of May 15th, 2019.
Stephen Cogswell gave us our music tonight? Awesome! That music was amazing. That was great. Thank you.
Yeah, so when do I get my trophy?
Well, we should just give it to you now. I mean, obviously.
We can just say
no.
Everybody call it.
Okay. Granted, but we got to figure out who's going to be second. And I think we are going to claim
who's
second.
Number two? Who's number two? No. I honestly am rooting for you guys. I think it would be beautiful if it was, all 4 of us at the top. So
yeah, that'd be nice.
All 4 of us on the podium.
That would be nice. I would settle for 3rd, but I think we have a shot for 2nd. But that being said, Ugly Dolls underperformed for us. It's not going to make. It's not going to. I mean, if we're lucky,
it's not going to make anything.
If we're lucky, it'll make $30 million over the course of the summer. But that's about it. The Hustle, if we're lucky, we'll get up to $60 million, but that's as high as it'll go, and that's fine. I needed to make 40.
That's fine.
I needed to make 40, a little bit more, and so I'm okay with that. So it's really after that. It's depending on Rocket Man and Dark Phoenix for us, and for Yesterday to see if that overperforms, because we got that for a pretty good deal too. So we have a lot of movies, so we've really spread ourselves out. So we can have movies that don't do well as long as we have other ones that do very, very well for us to still easily get to that 2nd place. That being said, Avengers Avengers Endgame is just rocking it for you. You got that movie way too cheap, Clyde.
Hey,
if we had more money,
let everybody else know.
If we had money, I would have bought it for more than what you paid for it easily.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for us, I think Rocket Man and Dark Phoenix will do very well for us. Men in Black, I don't know. I mean, it's the 3rd one.
That's why we didn't buy it for very much. We bought it for cheap.
We got it for cheap. I mean, it'll help add
10.
to our. It'll pad our numbers a little bit, I guess.
We bought it for 10, so it'll make its money back easy.
But our last 2 movies, Yesterday and The Fast and the Furious with The Rock. I mean, that's The Rock's summer hit, right?
That is going to make some big bucks.
I think it will, and I think that's what's going to vault us into 2nd place.
Yeah.
I mean, we may even get. I think we're going to get pretty close, even with Dark Phoenix, to second place.
The problem with the Hobbs and Shaw movie, because I like me some Fast and Furious when they went full on into the camp. They learned their lesson and took away all of Dwayne Johnson's lines in after the first one that he was in.
Mm-hmm.
And his character became awesome because it wasn't him saying terrible lines. So now they're going to undo that.
We'll see.
And give him a...
I think they figured out how to write Dwayne Johnson. That's the thing. He's now been able to make money.
Yeah.
You're able to make movies and make money, so.
Tell me one summer movie that The Rock didn't do well in.
There's a fair number of them.
I can just drop the microphone, right?
He has underperformed in a few movies. Rampage didn't do particularly great.
Yeah.
The Die Hard in Japan didn't.
Skyscraper
Really underperformed.
But
really.
Okay, so that wasn't a great movie, right? But I mean, but the Fast and the Furious is a franchise.
Yeah, but he's not a main character. He was added on in like as one of the villains in like number 5 or number 6.
He was
coming back.
He was a villain in one of them. Yes, I think the very first one he was in, he was the villain, right? Yeah. And so was
Shaw.
Statham.
Yeah.
What's his?
Except Jason Statham's character is awesome. And Jason Statham can't do a bad performance.
That's the reason why I'm saying, you get The Rock and Jason Statham together, it's going to make money.
Yeah, you're right, Jimmy. I'm sorry, Clyde doesn't have any kind of legs to stand on this. They're going to make money.
I think I'm gonna like it.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. It's not gonna make any money.
All right.
No, I think it's going to make money. I think Yesterday is going to make more than what you think it would. Right? I know when I look at the spreadsheet here, I think, let's see, who is this I'm looking at? So Matt didn't give it that much. Mike gave it a little bit more. So I'm going to read out what our predictions
were. Go
ahead. For Yesterday. For Yesterday, Matt predicted 70 million.
Right.
Michael predicted 125. I predicted 200 million.
Yeah, so we'll see.
I might be a little optimistic there. Maybe it won't do quite 200 million, but I bet that it goes north of 100 million.
Maybe, and I'd be really happy if it did, since we own it.
Yeah. And then I think we're going to see good performance too. I think the Rock and Jason Statham, I think that's going to go north of 200 million. I think Dark Phoenix also is going to go north of 200 million. Right? I also think that Rocket Man will probably get close to 200 million.
Who knows? We'll see. So I also wanted, before we leave, I did want to say one last thing. I've been watching the numbers and how they've been growing on the chart and all that, and I have to say that Clyde, your purchase of The Curse of La Llorona keeps making you money. It's not a lot, but it is continually going on. This movie is already beating Pet Sematary. This movie is probably going to make money for, I don't know why or how, but
because it's in they put it in that universe that people go, okay.
I don't know. All I'm saying is that was an interesting pick, and it's actually working out for you. I mean, you're already making almost $13 million per dollar spent there on that one.
I have to thank W. Scottus One for that one.
He
wasn't fast enough with the $4. Otherwise, it would have paid $5.
Which movie was that?
The Curse of La Llorona.
Yeah.
La Llorona.
My Sharona?
Exactly.
In Spanish.
All right.
The Weeping Woman.
Aww. All right, and with that, I think it's time that we transition to this happy thing in order to go to maybe something either really good or really bad, depending on how you look at it. So, rants and raves. Who's got a rant and who's got a rave?
I'm not used to being on this side.
And no, you actually have to say something, and you don't get to come in at the end and just say whatever you want and be done with it.
Most of the time, I just skip myself. But I guess I will rave in the fact that there were a couple of people that were getting on me because towards the end of last summer, I was talking about moving to my studio full time. Mm-hmm. And I went full steam on that, and then it just kind of stopped. And partly because of the winter and having to travel across town was like, I don't even want to go outside, let alone drive down there. So that ended up, the whole reason that stopped is a couple months ago, I found out I was getting a new studio.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Where I don't have to drive across town. I just go to whatever room it ends up being in this house.
Congratulations.
So, check in regularly. We'll see where we're going. It's probably going to be a rant for a while because based on what I'm seeing as a passenger, I don't think this internet circuit is gonna be great for streaming. We'll see when my real networking equipment is set up. That's still at the other place, in case Mediacom wasn't able to pull it off today, which they almost didn't. And I would have to race back to the other house where it's still active. But so. New chapter.
Well, all right. Sounds good. Mm-hmm. Well, that being said, then I'd have to say Mike or Jimmy, because I'm not always available to be right on time to get things started on this thing. Maybe one of you might want to run a show once or twice for us too. So, just a thought.
Yeah, I might give it a shot sometime.
Maybe. I mean, you guys both have very fast internet, right? Faster than my cable, right?
I have gigabit.
There you go.
Probably.
And the horsepower.
I don't know. What is your internet?
My internet is 250 down. Ha ha. That's what they say. And 12 up.
No, the bandwidth isn't actually that big of a deal because I've been streaming it for the last couple years. I've been hosting it with a 50 meg 20 up circuit.
Yeah, it's the up that you need, and it's the little bit of the hardware to be able to do it on the laptop's doing great.
It's primarily hardware. Hardware is always the bottleneck.
And the fact that I have a 1 terabyte limit, that sucks.
Yeah. Well, and we never know. I've never streamed. I've never used Skype on this laptop before. It could just be this laptop that's a problem, and I'm over Wi-Fi.
Right. It could be lots of things.
Voodoo.
Yeah. So. Well, to see. I mean, I don't know. I'm a Windows PC. My Windows PC is pretty much crapped out, so I don't know how to set it up on my Mac. But I suspect my MacBook Pro would have the horsepower.
So if it crapped out, is it Snake Eyes?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. A second there went right over my head, but then I caught it.
Boxcars is good, right?
All right. Anybody else have any rants or raves, or should I go?
I got, I raved a couple of weeks ago about Endgame.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to rant about the Ding movie. It can stop taking over all of the box office money. What, 3 weeks in a row? Something?
It's going to continue to make money until I go see it, and I refuse to see it.
I mean, 3 weeks in a row, it's been number one. It's done, $63 million this weekend. That's a good opening weekend for most movies.
Right.
And it's the third week. And so that's my rant. People should be going to see other movies.
Well, next
my
week
is
okay. Go ahead.
Detective Pikachu. I mean, I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. My kids, my daughter, the second it was over, she turned to me and said, we've got to buy this the second it comes out. Mm-hmm. And can we watch it again right now?
Well, so as far as Endgame being knocked off its pedestal, you have A Dog's Journey and John Wick Chapter 3 coming out next weekend. So that's a maybe, especially depending on those. So that could knock it off the first place pedestal. And then very likely Aladdin will, if nothing else will. So the week after.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm probably going to go catch John Wick, but not opening weekend. It won't be this weekend. It'll be next week. Mm. And yeah, so it's gonna be fun. But so did Detective Pikachu. So
I forgot to formally apologize to W. Scottus One for Long Shot. That movie was awesome.
Oh no!
It was so funny, and I laughed my tookus off. Like unbridled, full guffaw moments, and yeah, I'm sorry. It deserved to be a $630,000 or $1 million movie. But sorry.
I think you were right the first time. 1,000.
No, it's you should see it. I don't normally like Seth Rogen movies. Which is probably why nobody liked this one, or it didn't do so good, because it's not the Seth Rogen movie that people typically like.
It can be hit or miss. It depends. My Seth Rogen movie, how well I can like it, basically is how much weed is he doing on screen. I mean, it's not that that's the problem, is that he becomes the weed character, and I'm not interested in that character. But I understand this one. He's actually, funny in it, so that sounds good. Mm-hmm. It looked decent from the trailer.
Him and Charlize Theron played well off each other.
Oh, okay.
I mean, here's the thing: Seth Rogen's movies are totally hit or miss. This one has done 21 million so far. His last one did 21 million total, and then, another one did 100, and then 55, 150, 50, 17, 6, 150, 101. So, I mean, he's very hit and miss when it comes to box office. The thing is, R-rated movies typically underperform PG-13 movies, so you can expect that it's not going to do as well. Now, all of Seth Rogen's movies are, as far as I'm aware, but. I didn't expect a lot from it. This is a little less than I expected, though. I thought it actually looked pretty good when I saw the trailer. I thought it would hit 60 or 70, but it doesn't look like it's on track for that at all.
It's because I really liked it.
Yep. The rule of Clyde still applies.
And I keep saying the Pikachu movie should be making way more money than it is, because I walked out of there going,
So you were in the middle of the road? It's making middle of the road money. It's all right. The rule still applies.
There were so many things that was like...
I didn't say it was a great movie. I said I enjoyed it.
No, but the thing is, when I walk out of a movie like that, it usually does way better. Right. So that's why I was saying it should be making more money.
And it might
because I didn't love it.
My guess is Detective Pikachu will end up making about 120 million, 100 to 160 million max. So it'll be fine.
It is. It's one of those where as kids continue to get out of school, it might do a little bit better. Mm-hmm. It is a kids show. The kids really will enjoy it. I think it's fun enough for the parents to enjoy their kids. It isn't a good movie. I probably said it was. It isn't a movie, but it is enjoyable to watch. I enjoyed watching it with my kids. Loved it, and that's what really matters in this kind of movie. So I think it does exactly what it is meant to do. I'm surprised it did so poorly, but really it boils down to Endgame.
I will say I did really like when he kicked the Magikarp.
There were some great moments in the movie. There were some really good moments. And I liked the story overall. It just was a little ham-fisted at times as well.
Jimmy, you have anything you want to rant or rave about this week?
Yeah, so I'll talk about, a couple of shows that I've been watching. I think I kind of, talk about them every week here when they're, this time of year. So I'm watching the current episode of Billions, also Bosch. Both are excellent this season, just very good shows and all. And then HBO has a new show called Chernobyl. And in my household, I think I've said this before, my wife is Ukrainian, right? And she was living in Ukraine during the time of Chernobyl. So in my household, this is very interesting to watch. And I've only watched the first episode. I think the second episode just came out this week. But it's very true to life. They give you a clear picture into the events that were going on, and it's well done, right? It's really well done. Even my wife, who is Ukrainian, is really liking this show, and we're both watching this. The only thing is, my wife is a binger, right? She doesn't like to watch just one episode and wait, right? She likes to watch them all at once, right? That kind of thing. To where I'm kind of the other way. I can watch maybe a couple episodes at a time, but I don't particularly like to binge them all at once, right? So we're waiting for a few more episodes to get out before we continue on. But the first episode was excellent. I mean, just very good. And if you're interested in that time in history, and interested in seeing, kind of like what Eastern Europe was, back in the 1980s, and just enjoy, some good acting. You'll notice a character or two that's from Mad Men that's in Chernobyl. So I recommend it. I really enjoyed it, right? As well as the other two, Billions and Bosch as well.
Very cool. All right. Well, for me, my biggest rant / rave is after many weeks of having to wait patiently and trying to avoid spoilers, which I was not 100% successful with, I was finally able to go and watch Endgame. And
thank you for the money.
You're welcome. It was well spent. I really was popping popcorn and enjoying the movie. It was like there were points of the movie where I was just totally like, "Oh, this is good. I'm really enjoying this. This is great." Yeah. This is gonna be this movie. I think is gonna be one of those movies that people loved at first, and then later on, they're gonna tear it apart. I think this is going to be one of those movies. Now, we'll discuss that some other time, maybe 6 months from now when everybody's seen it. I don't know. But yeah, it's going to be kind of one of those movies where you're like, huh, that's different. This basically changes everything in lots of ways. So I'm curious what the future comes to us. Other than that, we've been watching our regular shows of trying to get around and watching The Code, which has not been renewed, and the other show that we watched, which was canceled. And it seems like all our regular shows, this is the time of the year where all the different shows get either renewed or canceled, and it looks like pretty much everything that me and my wife normally watch has been canceled. So I'm on the lookout for new interesting procedural dramas, mostly to watch with my wife. So let me know. And that is it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the show. I certainly have. Thank you guys for coming and watching us here at the VOD Squad. And of course, thank you, gentlemen, for joining us today. And I want you guys to know you can always reach out to us on Twitter at the VOD Squad on Twitter. And also you can send us email at thevodsquad@gmail.com. That will be the end of tonight's episode, and I hope that you guys will come back next week to join us again. So, thank you very much.
Later.
Bye. No! I hit the wrong one. All right. And
believe you did that with the rants and raves thing. This is my rant now.
It's not too late. You can still do it.
Good night.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.